Okay, hello. I feel like it's been a really long time since I've done a proper sit-down video. I feel like I've forgotten how to talk to a camera, and I just spent a solid 10 minutes trying to figure out where to place my camera. I feel like this is a really lazy background, but we're just gonna go with it. On Instagram a couple of days ago, I asked what you want to know about my relatively boring normal life. So we're just gonna go through those questions. How did you decide what to do as a career? I feel like I give off too much of an impression of having my life together on this YouTube channel. Whew. Okay, so I am 18, I haven't gone to college yet, I haven't really entered real life yet, so I think the best I can do in answering this question is to tell you what I want to study in college. The degree I want to pursue is media and communications. I'm not sure what career specifically I want to go into with that degree, but I definitely feel pretty sure that that's what I want to do in life. In terms of how I decided on that, when I was little, I was absolutely sure that I was going to be a scientist, probably an astronomer, but throughout my entire life I've always been really drawn to creative things. So eventually I realized that the whole scientist thing probably wasn't as much my idea as it was my parents. I think they really wanted me to be a scientist or something along those lines, but then just like in the activities that I would choose for myself in school and outside of school, I very naturally kind of narrowed in on this field, and luckily they've been very supportive, so like they haven't been disappointed or anything in my choice. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that topic. Okay, favorite bubble tea flavor. Was not expecting to get this deep and personal in this video, but I would say when I'm looking for more of a sweet drink, I'll go with taro milk tea, but also the cocoa cream wow at Kung Fu Tea is really good. But if I'm looking for something a little more refreshing, I'm gonna have to go with a winter melon tea with a milk cap and bubbles. What YouTubers do you watch? I talk about her way too much, but I love Lavendare's YouTube channel. Her like niche is, I would say, self-improvement. Her videos are so good. Her voice is so calming. She puts out a yearly workbook called the Artist of Life Workbook, and I love it. Oh yeah, her name is Eileen, and I just love everything about her, so you should watch her channel. I also really like Chris Soup. I think she's one of the most creative people on YouTube. Jessica Cabesi is a fantastic photographer. Oh my gosh, Best Dressed is Ashley's YouTube channel. Honestly, I feel way too proud of the fact that I subscribed to her before she like exploded. She's so talented and funny, and her videos are amazing. Okay, yeah, there's more, but those are my favorites. How do you plan your days so you have time for schoolwork and blogging / YouTube? I feel like this question could take up 3 videos, and I've already made some videos about this. So right now I'm in my senior year of high school, so actually school hardly takes up any of my time. I can't remember the last time I did homework at home. I have 3 study halls next semester, and most of my classes are a joke, so... But I would say other years when school was really hard and this question was more relevant, I would set a rule for myself where I'd work really hard to get all of my homework done Monday through Thursday, and then that would leave Friday to Sunday to work on extracurricular things and mainly blogging. So that would really help, because then I could just have like a day of really pushing it on schoolwork and then a day of creating blog content, instead of kind of having this mixed up jumbled mess. So I would say that's my main tip, is separating those parts of your life, but also learning how to say no and trying to simplify and pare down your commitments so that you can actually put time towards schoolwork and blogging, working efficiently, using class time really well. Yeah, those are the main things, and I'll link to posts and videos that I have where I talk more about this topic. How did you decide how to spend your gap year? Okay, people keep asking me about my gap year, and it's making me nervous because I think it's still quite a ways away, and people seem to think that I have already got this whole thing figured out, which I don't. So the gist of it right now is in about July, I'm gonna leave with my family for Lithuania and spend a while there. They're probably gonna want to visit some places in Europe together as a family, and then I'll be on my own, and then I'll be traveling in Europe and Asia, especially Spain and Southeast Asia, I would say. Mainly doing workaway programs where you do some kind of a job for someone and then they give you room and board. Because that is a very affordable way to travel. But recently, actually, I've been talking to my parents about possibly having some sort of like part-time role remotely in their shipping business. Right now, I occasionally work for them like packaging things, but there are aspects of their business that are done solely online that I could possibly take charge of and do while I'm traveling, which would just be perfect. As for how did I decide to spend my gap year? I mean, number one, I knew I really wanted to travel, and number two, I knew I needed an affordable way to do it. So I think those have been the two guiding principles for me in deciding what to do. I think workaways are a really good fit for that. Now it's just a matter of lining a couple of those programs up and then leaving and doing them. Okay, who is your inspiration? I feel like there are different inspirations for different aspects of my life. In terms of like blogging and content creation, basically the YouTubers that I listed in the previous question, I have some specific like photography inspirations, and that would be Jessica Kobasi, Molly from Mollified, I think she's so talented, Brandon Wolfel. Inspirations for just life in general, Michelle Obama for sure. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary. What inspired you to make this account? Okay, these are really hard questions. Okay, so basically I've been interested in blogging since 7th grade because we had an assignment for English class where we had to make a blog where we would post our writing. It was so cringy, and I'm definitely not linking to my very first blog, but basically I just got really excited about that assignment and I took it like 3 steps further. I was publishing all of these extra posts on top of what we were supposed to do for school. I got really excited about designing my blog and looking for other bloggers who were my age. It was called A Bit Amusing, which makes no sense, but I came up with it on the spot, and I actually kept up with that for a good while. I was publishing 1 or 2 posts per week and juggling that with my schoolwork, and then 8th grade started. That was kind of brutal, so I dropped blogging, but then I got back into it. I had, I think, 2 different Instagram accounts, but I was so shy about people from school seeing it that I think both of them I quit because someone from school discovered it. Finally, I started the Bliss Bean and stuck with it even after people from school discovered it. So yeah, my inspiration for the Bliss Bean was a very long-standing like interest in blogging, but more specifically an interest in like healthy living and habits that started around high school. So that is how the Bliss Bean was born. What's your favorite card game? I literally play like 2 card games, Speed and Egyptian Rat Screw. And the person who sent in this question has played both of those games with me. Alrighty, where do you get your recipes or recipe inspirations? I don't develop recipes a whole ton, like that's just not really my thing. I did have a dream at one point of being a food blogger, but then I realized I'm just not that good at cooking. Like I'm great at following directions, but I'm not very good at experimenting. So when I need recipes, usually I find things on Pinterest. When I do create recipes, I guess my inspirations are just food that I really like. How do we really pronounce your name? This is a little spiel that I have to give every new teacher or every new person that I meet. I am Lithuanian. I was born in Lithuania. My name is spelled B-E-A-T-R-I-C-E, and it has some accents which don't exist in English but do in Lithuanian. In Lithuanian, it is pronounced Beatrice. But when I came to the United States, I realized that was kind of hard for people to pronounce because of the rolled R, because of the weird vowel at the end that just doesn't really exist in English. But I also didn't like the English version, which is Beatrice. So I couldn't do Beatrice, I couldn't do Beatrice, so I just kind of combined the 2. I don't know when this happened or how I decided on it, but basically the hybrid version of my name is Beatrice. Now some people pronounce it more like Beatrice, some people pronounce it more like Beatrice or Beatrice, and all of those are right. Some people, when they meet me, they're like, I want to pronounce your name the right way, and honestly I just feel a little uncomfortable with Beatrice at this point because no one calls me that. So what I prefer for people to call me is Beatrice, and any slight variation that you put on that is probably okay. How are your eyebrows so perfect? I mean, honestly, I've never really thought about my eyebrows very much, but thank you. I guess it's my parents' genes. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Okay, last question. How do you balance your online life with your real one? I thought this was a very interesting question and a very thoughtful way to end this video. It is my hope that Beatrice and the Bliss Bean don't seem like 2 different people. I think that there's definitely differences between my 2 like personas. I'm probably more sarcastic in real life and I'm just less comfortable with being that way online. And I'm probably more outgoing online than I am in real life just because it's easier to do that on the internet. But I would hope that the ideals that I stand for in both sides of my life are basically the same. I think health is really important, and mindfulness and optimism and things like that. I think I strive for those in both aspects of my life. I'm probably not as vocal about it in real life because I don't want to annoy my friends with constantly talking about this stuff. I think the Bliss Bean is kind of my outlet to express myself in that area. In terms of balancing like living your real life with living your social social media life. I think what helps me is the fact that I'm just naturally not a super like social media savvy person. I don't know if this will make sense, but I don't have like the social media instinct to be sharing what I'm doing, and so I really have to push myself to be active and engaged on social media. So I think that helps me maintain a healthy balance because I don't get like sucked into social media. In terms of how much time I dedicate to social media, I would say I spend like a solid hour on Instagram per day, which is a lot, but I think that because I group it all into one big chunk of like posting a photo and responding to comments and engaging with other people's content, I think that helps me get it done more efficiently instead of letting Instagram like fill up the little pockets of my time throughout the day. So that really helps to maintain a balance. The last thing I wanted to say is that I think the content that you choose to consume makes a really big difference, because the community that I'm personally a part of really brings joy to my life. It really sparks joy. But honestly, whenever I go on Instagram, I always feel leaving more uplifted and inspired. And I think that's what social media should do. I think it should create meaningful connections and bring people up. It can also do the total opposite, but you just have to make good choices in who you follow and what type of content you put out. So I think the experience that you have on social media is very much defined by how you choose to experience it. And that's how this video is going to end. That is a very thoughtful note to end it on. I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A session. If you have any other questions that were left unanswered, feel free to reach out to me, email me, DM me, send me a letter, Telegram. I also accept pigeon mail. The next video that I'll be back with will be a very exciting vacation video because I'm going on a cruise in 6 days and I'm so excited. I can't wait to take lots of photos and videos and challenge myself in creating a beautiful memory of this trip. So thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!